Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. On this channel, we spend our time looking at fantasy of all sorts, from books to movies to video games, and applying the characters within into the tabletop game, Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition. Today, though, we're going to be looking at a core mechanic of D&D itself. Specifically, we're going to be looking at a subclass of the Ranger, known as the Beastmaster. But to be clear, the Beastmaster has been reprinted in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Today we're just looking at the player's handbook version of the Beastmaster, the original Beastmaster that was printed back at the start of D&D 5e. Now, this Beastmaster has a bit of a reputation. A lot of people approach the Beastmaster with a lot of high hopes, thinking that their ranger fantasies would be met with this subclass. Mechanically, though, it disappointed a little bit. Let's see why. The very first thing you get at 3rd level as a Beastmaster Ranger is your Ranger's Companion. You choose a Beast Companion. The Beast must be a CR 1/4 or less. A standard pick here that is commonly seen is a wolf. And this particular beast follows you around and follows your commands. You use your action to command it on your turn, and you can command it to attack, to take any other action you want. If you tell it to do nothing, it will just take the dodge action and defend itself until you tell it to do something. This is a really, really roughly built feature. First of all, 1/4 CR is pretty irrelevant beyond the lowest levels of play. By the time you get this companion at level 3, the monsters you're fighting are already stronger than your beast companion. And granted, you're not relying on your beast companion to tank things, but therein lies the other problem, is that it takes your action to command this thing. If you want to attack, well, you can't command your beast. If you want to command your beast, then tough, you can't attack. Unless you have some kind of bonus action ability that allows you to, but a 3rd level ranger doesn't really. So, yeah, this ability I give a 2 out of 10. It is pretty bad. Like, the 1/4 CR rating doesn't go up over the life of the ranger, and you never can command it with anything other than your action. So, most of the time, you're just not going to use your companion at all. It's not worth having at that point. At level 7, you get the exceptional training power. This means that you can command your beast to dash, disengage, dodge, or take the help action using a bonus action. This is when the beast actually becomes kind of helpful. You can do this with your bonus action, which means that you can treat it like a kind of like a super familiar, which isn't too bad. And its attacks become magical for the purposes of overcoming resistances, so that's also kind of nice if you don't have a magic weapon yourself. So yeah, this makes your beast a little more viable, like a familiar that can also hit, and probably has a few more hit points. So, not too bad. 7 out of 10. It's a shame this comes on so late at level 7, because, wizards can get their familiar at level 1. And artificers can build themselves homunculuses, which can do more than this at lower levels, so, eh. Then at level 11 comes the Bestial Fury power. When you command your beast companion to attack, it makes 2 attacks. So just like a ranger would get extra attack at level 5, now your beast has extra attack. It's still CR 1/4 or less, though, meaning that you are telling it to hit, and you're level 11 now. Even if it makes 2 attacks, unless it's fighting a little minion, it's not going to do much anyway. This is a 4 out of 10 power. It would be nice if you had a stronger beast, and it could multi-attack, but it's just not a thing for these lower level beasts. Finally, at level 15, you get the Share Spells power. This means that if you use a spell that targets yourself, which rangers have quite a few of, they have some nice buff spells, then you also target your beast companion with it within 30 feet. A classic example I like to use would be the spell Zephyr Strike, a ranger iconic spell that gives you advantage and extra movement speed, and it has a lot of benefits. And if you cast Zephyr Strike on yourself, your beast gets to get the advantage from it too, as long as it's within 30 feet of you. Healing spells and other self buffs also work for this, although it doesn't work if someone else targets you with a spell. Like, if someone hastes you, your beast doesn't get hasted. You'd have to do that to yourself. Rangers do have a fair amount of buff spells. But again, this is at 15th level, and you're buffing a creature with a spell that has a CR of 1/4. I can't stress this enough. This is really what breaks this class down, is the fact that your beast never gets stronger than that. And at anything past tier 1 play, and even in the later end of tier 1 play, that doesn't mean much. And at high tier plays, like 15 and up, forget it. Boosting your pet isn't going to do anything. And yeah, sure, having a body on the field to take 1 extra hits, or take down 1 minion, isn't useless, but buffing it and giving it 1 more hit, or 1 more minion it can take down, isn't going to mean a whole lot in the higher tiers. A 4 out of 10 for share spells. And overall, I give the Beastmaster a 4 out of 10. It's got a bad reputation for a reason. The biggest thing that breaks it is the fact that it takes your action to command your pet, until you get that 7th level bonus action feature, but you still have to use your action to tell it to attack. And the fact that it hits like a CR 1/4 beast. That's never going to be anything more than a level 1 or level 2 party member. Anything beyond that, it's not going to do much. The beast is going to become completely obsolete later in game. Hell, even in mid-game. And it's just not worth doing. You basically just become a ranger who barely has any extra power. You know, you could take Magic Initiate as a feat, get the Find Familiar ability, and you could do most of this stuff with a familiar. And they don't require your action to command. So there's a good amount of redundancy in this subclass, and I wouldn't recommend it. Now, like I said, Tasha's did reprint it. We'll cover that in another video. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below, and keep your eyes peeled for more subclass reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.